that ought to do just about nicely here. Let me give it another little. Perfect. Perfect. How long you guys been standing there? So, as you guys may have determined by the title, I am now in possession of an 1863 Remington pocket pistol. Brass frame, of course. The date code says that it's 1997, and it is an ASM, Army San Marco. Give you a really quick story as to how I came into possession of this. Before I went to the Santa Fe Trail Rendezvous, my buddy Charlie, he's the guy in this photograph that's not wearing the hat. Let that focus. Charlie is a buckskinner that I've known for many, many years. We've rendezvoused together. We've did treks together, and we probably told each other the biggest lies anybody could ever imagine. But Charlie knew that I was making wads for 31, 36, and 44 caliber revolvers, and he called me up and asked him to send him a package. And then when he received the package, he called me up to let me know he received the package and what he owed me, and it was nothing. So the conversation ensued, and I asked him, I said, Charlie, if you ever have the mind to get rid of this little pocket pistol, I would be interested in buying it from you so that I could add to my collection. And he says, well, hell, I'll just package everything up and send it to you as a gift, which included the cutest little powder flask I've ever seen and the double cavity mold with the round ball and the conical. And no matter how much I tried to convince him I wanted to buy it, he just would have nothing to do with that. So thank you very much to my good friend Charlie One Feather Delsart. So you all may have been wondering what I had done in the beginning, stamping a little dimple into the cylinder. Well, I didn't know, not being familiar with these pocket pistols whatsoever, that, and like all Remingtons, there is a little cutout for the hammer to rest into what is the safety notch in between the cones. Now, I did not know, like I said, because I'm not familiar with these, but when you try to rest the hammer into the safety notches, the hammer does not set into the safety notches. So if a guy was to safely carry this, you would have to rest it on an empty cylinder, which means now your 5-shot pistol becomes 4. I can't have that. So having worked on Remingtons before in deepening those safety notches, I figured what I would do is the same thing with this revolver, and I've got a little bit more to go, but what I did is instead of doing all 5 cylinders, I put a little touch mark right there to indicate what safety notch I am filing out. And what I'm in essence doing, just making it deeper so that the hammer will have some place to drop into the safety notch. And there again, for those that are not familiar with these, basically at the end of the safety notch, it's just a flat shelf and it goes straight down to the ratchet. And the way the hammer is made and designed, that does not set into the notch whatsoever. So what I've been doing with a file is I've been deepening the notch. Okay, I don't know how well the camera's picking anything up. Let me get a little bit more light into it. And you can kind of see what I'm doing there as opposed to where the other safety notches are. Now I've got it to the point to where the hammer will drop in there and it'll safely lock up, but I'm deepening it a little bit more because I want the hammer to go as far in its travel as it possibly can. So the reason why I put that little touch mark in there, so that when I get all 5 cylinders loaded, I can rotate the cylinder, find the touch mark, and I know that that's the cylinder that the hammer will set all the way into the safety notch, and I can carry it safely with 5 cylinders loaded. So I'm going to go back. I got a little bit more work to do. I just kind of want to get it just a little bit deeper, and I'm going to do that with my little slow speed Dremel tool. Clean it up a little bit with the file, and the file is just a square file that fits just nicely in between the notches here, or at least the wall of what is the notch. And I'm going in both directions so I can get that as deep as I can. And looking at the back wall of the cylinder and having it in place already, it's not, from what I can see right now, it's not necessary to file that all the way down to the top of the ratchet. And I thought about notching a little bit of that hammer on the very bottom side like I did with my other Remingtons, but when I look at the imprint on the hammer of where it strikes the cone, I'm not going to be able to do that without possibly taking away some of the striking surface of the hammer as it hits the cone. So my option is to do it like this. Like I said, I've already got it to the point to where it will safely lock up right there, but I just want it a tad bit deeper. Find the pin mark, the peen mark. Get the hammer in there, and you can see it's locked up. Now, looking at it through the better light, and I can now see that the flat of the hammer is resting squarely, on the flat part right here that I have not removed any metal. So I believe that I am as deep as this is going to allow me to go. The other thing that I can check is when the hammer is set all the way forward, you can see where it's stopping at the frame. So I can double check that, and that might indicate that I can go maybe just a little bit more. Well, I could possibly go a little bit more, guys. I think I will. And the end result is it's even tighter. So I did go a little bit deeper with it, and I went a little bit more towards the top of the ratchet, and that sucker's in there real tight. So now I can really safely carry this gun, all 5 cylinders loaded, and have a very secure safety notch. So some of you may be wondering what else I've done to this 63 pocket pistol. I've gone through the internals and polished everything up. There was quite a number of burrs on everything. Don't know whether they were that way from the factory or if these have occurred over time, but I've got it pretty smooth right now, with the exception of that unless I hold the hammer real tight and depress the trigger, it'll kind of like lock up at the halfway point. And I do know, looking at everything yesterday, I've still got some more burrs on the trigger, but I didn't want to get too aggressive with that right now, just simply because since there's no trigger guards on these triggers, I don't want it, don't see, you can see what it just did right there. I don't want the trigger pull to be excessively light, because that could be a real problem. Now, one of the things that I'm discovering about this particular ASM 63 pocket Remington revolver is that CCI number 10s will not go all the way down the cones. I do have quite a few Remington number 10s, and my friend Charlie says it takes number 10s, but he didn't say either Remington or CCI. And the problem that I'm having is that when the hammer comes down and it strikes the cap's not going off, obviously, but then I can't cock the hammer back, which tells me that that dog leg is still on that cam. Now, I resolved some of that issue with my Pieta 1860 Army Old Silver, and I did a video showing everything that I had to do to resolve that. But what I decided to do here first was to take the cones out and measure the height of the cones. And I've got one that measures 0.494, and the rest of the cones are taller than that. And even with the Remington number 10s, I've got two that won't go off, or actually they'll go off, but I can't recycle the hammer because the cone might be too tall and it's not allowing the dog leg to fall off the cam. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking some time and I'm making sure that all my cones are all the same height, the 0.494. And all I'm simply doing is just taking the cone and working it back and forth on a very coarse sharpening stone. It's taking me a little bit of time, but I am getting it. This is the last one I have to do, and then I'm going to put some Remington number 10 caps on this and see if they'll all go off, which they should, but will I be able to recycle once they've gone off? 3 of these cones, if I remember right, were 0.497. So you can see that the 3,000ths may not sound like much, but when that hammer snaps that cap and you can't recycle it, that 3,000ths is quite a bit. So I'm going to get to work here, finish this last one up, and we'll see if I can snap all 5 caps and recycle them at the same time. Okay, let's see if mission accomplished. Let's hope. Now that one didn't go off, but everything's cycled. Let me go back around here. That one right here. Maybe it wasn't pushed on all the way. Yep, that's what it was. Wasn't pushed on all the way. My fault, but taking those 3,000ths off seemed to have done the trick. Alright, here's the last one. So, mission accomplished. Now, just in case I run out of number 10, I have a whole slew of Remington number 11, so I pinched them on. Let's see if we can get the same results. seemed to work good. Got one that's just still hanging up. I might take a little bit more off the top of that cone. Well, I decided not to do that because when I took the cylinder off, it was actually the cap that was wedging in the cycle and preventing me from having to, cycle it. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm ready to go test it. Stay tuned for that real soon. So, the other thing that I need to do now is mic the round balls and the conicals, and much to my surprise, my friend had told me when I spoke with him on the phone the other day, letting him know that I received the revolver, he indicated to me he's never shot a conical through this revolver. So I'm anxious to see, what that's all going to end up being. But obviously I have a little bit of touch-up work to do. I want to blue what I just filed off. And I have taken a light look down the barrel, and the barrel is immaculate. The inside of the cylinder are immaculate, and the cones don't even look like they've been fired upon at all. And even my friend has told me he's only shot maybe 3 cylinders through this thing, and it's just sat in his closet, taking it out maybe once every 5 years, 6 years, just to see if the thing still shoots. So I'm pretty excited to have this in my possession right now. I'm going to be even more excited to get out and do some shooting with it. Obviously, these little pocket pistols are completely designed for like up close and personal. They're not a target pistol. They're just basically a last resort self-defense. But it is nice. I've put it in my pocket already, and it carries very well in a pants pocket. That's even without a holster. So anyhow, I hope what I've showed and how to work the safety notches in this particular pocket pistol so that you can safely carry it with 5 loaded cylinders, lower the hammer, and still be safe in carrying it. So anyhow, friends, until I get a good day to get out and do some shooting, we got inundated last night with a bunch of rain. Everything right now is just a complete muddy mess. There's standing water everywhere. So it's going to take a few days for this to dry out enough for me to get out and do some shooting. And I've got some more testing I want to do with my homemade gunpowder as it pertains to the aspen as the charcoal and things like that. So anyhow, it's enough rambling. Thanks for watching. I hope that what I've done will encourage you to give it a thumbs up, and also share it with your bestest of buds, in particular those that might have a pocket pistol and can't carry it with 5 loaded cylinders because the hammer's not sitting all the way into the safety notch. So everybody have a great day. Bye.